Here we go, here we go, here we go. Sorting out my tester strips. So wait for people to join. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Is there anybody there? Don't know. Is there anybody there? Hello, hi. Hi everybody, hello, good evening. Hi Rebecca. Hi Maria, hello, good to see you. Hi Deborah. See if I can move these without revealing what they are. Hi Joel. Hi George, good evening. How is everybody? Does everyone have a drink, really importantly? Tea, coffee, cocktail, other drink, whatever is your tipple of choice this evening. Hi Lisa, hi Phoebe, thanks for joining. Karen, hello. Gosh, we're already at 40 people. How did that happen? Hi Aggie, nice to see you. Judith, hi. Saying just hello to everybody, just hi. Hi Carl. I have my drink. I have my bubbles in a saucer. I always prefer a champagne saucer to a flute. I don't know how you feel. Let me know in the comments if you're a flute or a saucer type of person. But it's Thursday night. It's Escentual Scents, the second live reveal of our Sheepra box. So let's just go all out. Susie's got red wine. Get in, Susie. Never lets me down. Rebecca's got a green tea. Good. Good, good. Can't beat that. Hi, Amanda. Good to see you. Hi, Becky. I'm glad you're looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to it too. Always looking forward to this. Kasia says she's Polish, practically made of tea. Turmeric tea for Amanda. Green tea too. Well, also green tea. Bit of Sauvignon Blanc. Brilliant. Lovely. Gosh, we're all ready then. We're all set, haven't we? We've got teas galore. Bit of wine going on. I can see people saying hello to Chelsea. Is Chelsea there? Did I miss Chelsea? Hi Chelsea if you're there. Sorry if I missed you. Deborah says, my husband just asked if it was that fragrance nerd gang thing again tonight. Yes, it is. I wonder if we can kind of lobby Escentual to change this to the fragrance nerd gang. I'm totally on board with that. Saucer is way classy, Susie. I agree. All about saucers. Although I have to delicately pick this up because I've got spade hands, so I'm prone to knock stuff over. Either as long as it holds champagne. Yeah, well, let's not be fussy, shall we? Whatever receptacle. We'll have it in a mug. That's fine. We are the fragrance nerd gang. Okay. Brilliant. Cheers to Escentual. Hello. I will get going in a minute. I'm just going to give everybody a few minutes to get on and get a drink and get settled and see how you are. I've got hot chocolates galore, teas. My son calls you my perfume bae. I'm happy to be your perfume bae. Any day, Aline. I'm happy for that. Hi, Jane. It's lime and soda for you. Good, get in there. It's a fragrance meeting. This is actually a formal meeting that we'll be holding. I hope you've all read the standing orders, and I do have authority. I have absolute authority here. Joel's just a nerd. I'm with you there. We're just nerds all round. Deborah's going to do the minutes. Great, that's great. If you could do the minutes for me, please. We've got a set agenda, which I'm already not sticking to. George has a nose. It's not very helpful when it comes to drinking from a glass. Okay. Disarano on the rocks. Wow, we're getting really fancy with these drinks now. Weird, there's some mixology going on. Okay, so this is the second live reveal of February's box, which is the Sheepra box. Very excited. Thanks everyone for attending. The last time we did this was 2 weeks ago, exactly. And we did the reveal of the first 4 fragrances. We kind of, well, there were some surprises in there, I think. We looked at fragrance A, which was a classic Sheepra, which was Mitsuko by Guerlain. Then B was the kind of modern Chypre, which was the Narciso Rodriguez for her, which is really kind of classic modern. It's kind of a classic example of the modern. Then we had a kind of the weird and bonkers C, which was Interlude Woman by Amouage, which was just absolutely nuts, bonkers. And quite a few of you were like, oh, I'm kind of digging this, I'm into it. And then D was our kind of retro modern Citizen Queen by Juliet Has a Gun. So we had kind of an interesting look at the first 4, and tonight we're going to reveal the last 4. So we'll do this as always. I'll say it will go on for 30 minutes and it will go on for 7 hours because I just can't stop talking. Standard. There's no right, wrong. Whatever you smell is right. Please keep talking in the comments as we go through the scents. I want to hear your impressions. I know some of you have been already contributing in the group. Some of you may not have had the opportunity to. You might have been busy, but let's keep talking. It's always great. Please do interact in the Facebook group. It's so fun to see everybody talking and all the polls and everything that people do and all the photos and things, and share your selfies with your boxes and your samples. It's always really, really great. So last time we talked about the Chypre, we kind of defined it as a fragrance that focused on mossy notes, contrasted by citrus and warmer notes such as labdanum and patchouli. It's kind of a distinct and aloof genre that has a very strong character, very stark sense of contrast. We also talked about how they've evolved and that modern Chypres are much kind of lighter, much softer, much more focused on floral notes and roses and things, and like white musks and patchouli, quite clean, but still very textural. And then obviously we revealed the first 4 fragrances. Very exciting. So we're going to reveal the next 4. Should we just get into it? Because I feel like we should. You're jealous of all the perfumes behind me. Yes, there is quite a few. If I just sort of dodge out the way, you can see a bit. There's more. They go up this side of the wall as well. But it's just, if you feel jealous, just remember it's me who has to dust them quite regularly. So it's not all great. Oh, interesting. So we're talking a few comments about whether we prefer the last 4 or the first 4. Interesting. Yeah, that's really interesting. The first half of the box or the second half of the box? Which one of you preferred generally? So Matt is saying she prefers the first 4. These feel like the also rans, although I may regret saying that when we find out what they are. Maybe. Susie loved the box. Been away from Facebook for a couple of weeks. I haven't seen people's guesses or thoughts, so looking forward. Good, brilliant. Sean disagrees, she prefers the last 4. Hi, Karen. I've just seen Karen's there. Hi, Karen. Good evening. Hello. Karen's got a glass of wine. Fabulous. I'm joining you with some bubbles in a saucer that I have to very, very carefully handle because I will spill it on myself. Yeah, George is very keen to find out what fragrance E is. I'm just glad, George, that fragrance E is the first one that we're going to go through to put you out of your misery. So, are you ready? Should we just go for it? Should we go for E? Let's go for E. So, what do we think of fragrance E? What are our general thoughts of this one? Do we love it? Do we hate it? Do we not really care either way? I'm just going to get fragrance E out of my box if you've got your box with you and your strips. Oh, there we go. There we go. Let's do E. Give this a spritz, everyone, and let's see what we think. I'm going to give a generous spritz because this one's quite light to my nose. So I'm going to give it a bit of a strip. Yes, the Moschino toy always has a bit of a spot in the background because it's a cuddly toy. It's so cute. Okay. So, E. Let's talk E, everybody. What do we think of E? Personally, I'm a fan. I think you can't go wrong with this fragrance. Very lemon, yeah. It's light and pleasant, absolutely. I'm on your TV. Amazing. Brilliant. Do I look good? That's what's really important. E is zingy, clean, fresh, citrusy. I agree. Okay, Rebecca's saying it's way too cliche mask dry down for me. Okay. Lemon and lavender. All the feels for E from the one and only Lisa Justice. George says bright neon green and yellow, then darker in the dry down. Loved it, no longevity from Selena. Susie says very interesting, grassy. Okay, so I think we're kind of we're all right. I think people seem to enjoy this because of its ease and its freshness. I picked this one because it's an example of a green sheep. So seeing as we did green in January, this could have also possibly sat in the green box if we were being cheeky, but I think it's more of a sheep. And these were particularly popular in the 70s and 80s, this kind of style of fragrance. If you think about all of the sport fragrances in the 70s, you know, kind of the Estee Lauder sport fragrances, the YSL things, it felt very green, fresh and sporty, and a little bit sheepery, a little bit mossy. This is a very aromatic sheet that showcases that signature sharpness of the genre. It's got that standoffishness, but it's just wonderful, like, aria of citrus notes. And it shows you how the lines of the genre can blur quite quickly, because I would say you could say this is a sheep. Absolutely, looking at the structure of it, it is a sheep, but it also blurs into a cologne and also a green fragrance as well. So it's a very exciting fragrance for me, I think, because it just feels timeless to me. Even though it's very of that age, I don't feel like it has aged badly at all. Let's scroll down and see what everybody's saying about this one. Fresh, lemony, natural, love the lemon. Big fans of lemons here. Louise says it reminds her of something her mum wore when she was a child, very lemony. Okay, Amanda says easy wear, not too challenging, but also a bit lacking in character. I would kind of agree with that. I think it's a very beautifully done fragrance, but it's kind of like a background scent, I think. It's something that you would wear when you just don't want to think about something too much and you want to smell nice. Jade's got E in her collection and knew exactly what it was. Haha. Okay, Pip really felt this could have been in January's box. Yeah, I agree, it could have done. I think it absolutely could have been in January's box. So there were lots of comments about this one. I think it was a hard one to dislike. I think many people praised it because it was so easygoing. George has described it as being bright and yellow and green, but also with dark, woodsy, earthy notes in the background. Claire said that it took a while to warm up and became much more masculine in the dry down. Mandy said she liked it even though it smelled like her dad's deodorant, which I thought was quite an interesting observation. Pip said she got citrus from it and didn't think it would have been out of place in the green box. Lisa said she had fond memories of this fragrance, especially using it to deter wasps at work, which I would like to know more about. Joel said it was menthol, woody and minty. Again, another interesting observation. And Claire said it reminded her of a clean and clear face wash. It certainly has that kind of wellness vibe to it, in the sense that you do feel very refreshed and revitalized when wearing it. And it does feel very clean. So it does make you think of a nice skincare product or a nice face wash or a nice shower gel or something along those lines. It's inoffensive, but meant inoffensively. Yeah, I mean, it's not bad to be inoffensive, really, is it? So this is really about golden citrus. It reminds me of sunlight. It's very, very bright. It's kind of refreshing. It's like dewdrops on flowers in the morning. But there's this mossy green vegetal quality that I think is really, really lovely and makes it very, very aromatic. But it also has the rasp of patchouli in there. So it's got that kind of darkness into it. So you do get some of that mossiness, some of that patchouliness, but it does... Patchouliness. We've learned a new word today that I just made up. Patchouliness is that word. You do feel like it is very distinctly chypre in that way. I would say it's kind of a green chypre cologne. It's like summer. It's quite androgynous, I think. I think a man could wear this as easily as a woman. And interesting, Becky, you were just saying really unisex. It smells clean on my hubby, but also refreshing and uplifting on you. Absolutely. I think it just works really, really well. Okay. Shall we let you have a few guesses before we get there? So I'm just about to reveal it. Let me know what you think it is. I really like this fragrance. And I like it also because it's really affordable. I'm not going to be dumping a £700 perfume on you, which I'm sure you'll all be appreciative of. And Escentual are going to share a top tip. I'm excited about this one. So everybody's kind of dropping some hints. I've seen mentions of salon heritage. I've seen toweling wrapped around your head. I've seen some Clarins references. Okay, I think you've all got it. It is the Clarins Eau d'Innocence, which I have this wonderfully comically large bottle here. This is a 500ml splash bottle, I think, which you can just, douse on yourself. If there is going to be like a thumbnail for this, it's going to be me doing that, isn't it? So E is Eau d'Innocence by Clarins. This was created by Jacques Cotin Clarins, who was the founder of Clarins in 1987. It's as old as I am. I was born in 1987, so it's very young, very, very young, very youthful. And this is their flagship fragrance. But it's not just a fragrance, really. It's a treatment fragrance. So it contains extracts of ginseng and other things that have got very long names that I can't pronounce, to tone, and aloe, and something called ispagul. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, which moisturizes and softens. So it's actually something you can wear on the skin that is good for your skin as well. I think this is a really, really beautiful, beautiful fragrance. I think it just captures Clarins and all of the beautiful things they do in a nice little capsule. And I think it's kind of iconic in a way, isn't it? You see this bottle and you think Clarins and you think how beautiful and wonderful the fragrance is. It's so fresh. Is this a value pack size bottle? This is just a giant bottle. You can get this, so 100 ml spray of this is about £31.65. But there's also a 200 ml splash, which is £45. So there's not too much difference in price, but they're very, very affordable. And also it wears like a cologne. You could just absolutely just douse yourself in it in summer, and you'd have to keep reapplying because obviously it's very fleeting, it's very ephemeral. But it's just gorgeous. So let's just see. Escentual is saying, Clarins uses to start off all their treatments, even if it's something you wouldn't wear every day. Spray it into the palms of your hands. Oh, I keep losing the comment. Before your skincare routine, breathe it in and you'll instantly feel invigorated. Lovely. So it does have that therapeutic quality, absolutely. I really, really, really enjoy this fragrance. It's just lovely. And now I can literally just pour it on myself. Yeah, it's just so... It just feels good. It puts you in a good mood. Puts you in a good mood. What strength is it, do you know? I don't know, because they don't put whether it's an eau de toilette or eau de parfum on here, because it's sold as a treatment fragrance. So I don't know what the concentration would be. It doesn't say. Maybe someone from Escentual would know a little bit more, but I don't think so. It certainly wears like a cologne. I can't imagine there's a huge amount of fragrance compound in here. Happy is Clinique, I think, George. Not Clarins. I think it definitely sits as a cologne, I would say. So I don't think this was a surprise for a lot of people. But for some, I know for George it's probably a little bit of a surprise because you were desperately trying to work out what this one was. Shanna wears this a lot in spring and summer. Absolutely. I think it's really nice in spring and summer. And also I find fragrances like this work really well in winter, because sometimes you're craving that summer like feel, that happiness. So I think if you want to get some of that summery goodness, spritz a bit of this on. Also a nice fragrance to wear to bed if you like wearing fragrances to bed, because it's not too overwhelming. I mean, I would happily wear Interlude Woman to bed, but then, you know, I clearly am a scented sociopath in that respect. But if you don't really, really want to frighten the horses or whoever you're sharing your bed with, then maybe this would be a better choice. Maybe they might thank you for it. So yeah, lovely fragrance. I'm really, really chuffed that you all like this one. And I think it's a really, really gorgeous example of a chypre and how it can kind of be a bit more aromatic. We're on E, Farah, so this is fragrance E, so we've only just got started, so you haven't missed much. Pip keeps this in her gym bag for freshening up. Oh, I love that idea. That's a great idea. Yeah, and you could wear this to the gym and it wouldn't be too imposing, I think. Right, that is E. I'm going to put my comically large, amazing bottle down. And we're going to move on to, fragrance F. But before I do that, a question, as I always have. If fragrance E was an object in your house, what object would it be? I'll let you ruminate on that for a second. For me, I think it would be a nice spider plant or a succulent or something. Something that's kind of quite happy to look at. That feels good, that gives you a sense of nature. Bronwyn, you were given a bottle once and wore it when you were working on a farm one summer. How could you not recognise? Maybe you're smelling it in isolation away from all the farm smells, maybe. Possibly goose poo related trauma, yes, absolutely. A lemon squeezer. That's a good answer. I like that, Francesca. George says a plant. Paul says a plant pot for sure. A daylight lamp. I like that. It's a nice idea. What's a succulent? Well, it's a type of plant, like a cactus, kind of. Like if my husband were here, he'd be able to answer because he knows all about succulents and things like that, but I don't. It's a type of plant. eucalyptus plant. Lisa says the bath. Yeah, a glass vase, because it's got that nice transparency, isn't it? You can kind of see in it. It's fresh, it's airy. A flip-flop because it's summery. Lovely. Some great answers. Let's move on to F then, because a lot of people said F was their favourite. That's what I found quite interesting about this box, is that F, I think, was one of the ones that I think a lot of people really liked. And for me, it's the most interesting in the box. Out of all of them, I think it's the one that I think is the most interesting. So, let's give F a spritz. Please let me know what you think of F. Are you a fan of F? Are you not? Are you an F person or are you not? Give this a good spritz. Thumbs up, thumbs down, smiley faces, unhappy faces, hearts, ghost faces, whatever you want to express your feelings on F. Giles says F was sweet. Yeah, lots of people saying F is their favourite. Lynn saying that, Judith saying that, Lisa loves F. Rebecca says it's a sweet little prom queen. If you can hear barking, that is my rather pugnacious little pug downstairs who's being a bit antisocial. Too peachy, says Deborah. Too fruity. Okay. Joel says pineapple and salad, fruit salad chews. Yeah, I think that's interesting. Rich's wife loves F and needs it in her life. Okay, well, looks like somebody's going to be buying F at some point. Love F but can't figure it out at all. Not my type, but okay for summer. Sweet and peachy. Lots of people picking up on the fruit notes in F, which I think is really good. So I picked this because I think it's a really complex perfume. It's a modern sheep trying to recreate a classic sheep. So it's kind of this hybrid of the classic and modern, almost like the exact midpoint. And it's interesting that it's from the reference point of someone in the modern day. So when this came out in 2018, trying to make as classic a style sheep as they could for modern tastes, using the modern materials that they can use. And that's why I think it's so unique, because it's kind of looking back from this position. Also showcases some really nifty aroma chemicals, which we'll come on to later. So I'm just going to dip back into the comments, see what we think of this one. Sophie just joined, missed E. If someone in the comments would mind telling me that. E was Odine and Moissant by Clarins, Sophie. Susie thought F was useful, optimistic, very fruity, a bit too sweet. Jade is obsessed with it. Amanda says way too fruity, sweet, sticky for me. Deborah, I think I've got this, but blow me, I can't think what it is. I got sweet and a bit vanillic. Yeah, I agree with that. George, bright red rose and shining gold metal. Yeah, there's absolutely something metallic about this, isn't there? Smells the same as a green EDT that your mum used to get. Hoping it's not priced like F in the green box, as that was lush but quite expensive. It is not, I can confirm. I can confirm. Okay, lots of thoughts on this one. So Carl in the group said it was lovely and he'd wear it in summer. Adele called it floral, warm and familiar. Michelle said she mostly got citrus, lemon, lime and grapefruit, adding that she quite liked it and she thought it was unisex, which I thought was quite unusual. Claire said she found it more masculine than E, and Joel said he thought it was sweet and fruity, reminding him of fruit salad penny sweets, which I totally agree with you, Joel. It's got that kind of synthetic fruitiness to it, almost like a fruit cocktail. So this is... and I hope you're smelling along with me, guys, but this is a fruity, very fruity top note, but it's kind of purple fruits. It's like plums and like maybe a little bit berryish, but it's actually like kind of warm purple fruits to me. There is a freshness and airiness to this. It's got a sense of a kind of warm breeze. And underneath that, there's all this kind of warmth and mossiness, but it's also quite dark and inky. I think all of the other modern sheepers that we've looked at have been quite... they've been quite, quite clean. So they've been a bit sterile. They're not trying to kind of have any of that mossiness or dirtiness. This doesn't shy away from that. And you've got this lovely inky kind of funk there. A little bit of something savoury in there that I can't quite put my finger on. And it feels quite true to a classic sheep for me, but it's not aloof or standoffish. It's quite inviting. There's a softness, a warmth and a plushness, but it also has an outdoorsy, adventurous vibe. So I think it's such a fascinating fragrance. I've been wearing this one a lot actually since it arrived, because I remember when this launched and I had a sample of it and I wore it. I kind of smelled it and was like, yeah, I think that's interesting, but I never actually really wore it. I've been wearing this a lot, and I'd probably say if there's one discovery from the box for me of something that I've really kind of been enjoying wearing, it's probably this one. Okay, I've put mysterious fragrances in the box. I have. I'm very mysterious. I like to do that. A couple of people saying it reminded them of YSL Baby Doll. Maddie's saying that, and who's saying that as well? Deborah. And Maddie's saying it has... Oh, Baby Doll has been discontinued. Oh, that's sad. It was on their website, though. Are they lying to us? Are they lying to us? Strawberry caramel popcorn. Interesting. There is like kind of a fruitiness and also this weird savouriness. I'm the only one... I can't be the only one picking up on that. Some decadence question mark. Is that as in Marc Jacobs decadence, or are you questioning whether it is in itself decadent? I would say one of those is true. Okay, so let's have some guesses then. What do we think of this one? What do we think it is? I will say it's a brand that I don't really ever get excited about, but they've done a couple of fragrances recently that I think have been very, very well done. That probably means nothing, but that's what I will say. Carl's picking up on that inkiness. It's really inky, isn't it? Oak moss in itself can be quite inky when you smell it, but it's a little bit more kind of like masticky and roasted. It's kind of a weird smelling material when you smell it in person on its own. Okay. So we're getting a few Marc Jacobs, Lancôme Idole. Well, that's annoying that it's like out of stock on YSL. But I guess, yes, if this is a good substitute. So this is, drum roll please. That's my idea of a drum roll. This is Nomade Eau de Parfum by Chloe. So this came out in 2018. It is by a really cool perfumer called Quentin Bish. Quentin Bish, I don't know if you remember this. If you watched a few years back, I say a few years back, I think it must be 10 years ago now. And BBC did a 3-part series on perfumers. So they did one with Jean-Claude Ellena, they did one in Brazil, and they did one where they spent time with Jean-Paul Guerlain and also like the perfumery schools. And there was a perfumer there who was learning, he was new, and he came from an art background, and they weren't sure if he was going to make it, blah, blah, blah. That was Quentin Bish, and he has done so many cool fragrances. He's a name to watch. He's done some stuff for Etat Libre d'Orange, which is a cool renegade brand that we stock, and also some of the newer fragrances for Jean-Paul Gaultier, such as La Belle, La Beau, and La Mel, La Parfum. So he's done so many cool things, and he really approaches things from this quite cerebral space. And the fragrance is inspired by the idea of adventure and escape, of liberation and freedom. It's quite daring and bold, but it's not difficult. It's easy to wear. And it's a nod to classic Chypre without being outdated. The top notes are very fruity and plummy and rich and vibrant, but there's also a freshness. And I mentioned earlier that it uses two really interesting aroma chemicals. I'm sure it has more in the formula, but there's two that Givaudan, who make the fragrance, talk about, and one of those is Calypso, which has this kind of ozonic sea breeze quality to it, but also is quite fruity like watermelon, so like fresh fruity. And another Givaudan material called Pomerose, which is a very fruity rose with facets of apples, plums and raisins, and that's where we get kind of this contrast of lovely fruitiness and freshness. So you get fresh fruitiness with a white floral effect and oak moss in there to fashion a modern Chypre that's really, really chic. I think it's really elegant, this fragrance, but casual elegant. It's not, it's not dressed up. It's got that beautiful dark inkiness that I've mentioned that creates a stark contrast between that lovely, fresh, fruity purple opening. It's just a really beautiful fragrance. What can I say? I really, really enjoy this. I think it's really, really lovely. Do you guys know this? Are you familiar with it? Are you surprised? Who will be buying this? I certainly love this one. Probably the most out of the box, I think. This one and Interlude, I think, would be my favourite. I can't remember what that series is called, Rebecca. I think it's... I will find out and post in the group. It's a BBC documentary about perfumers. I can't remember what it's called. Someone else might know. But if I find out, I'll put it in the comments. George really enjoys the whole Nomad line, the EDP and the EDP and the Absolute. They're very modern, but quite different in the designer mass market world? I think so. I think they stand out, and I think they've done a really good job. They did another one which was unfortunately discontinued, which I think was called Love Chloe, which was a lovely sort of powdery violet. So they're doing really nice, interesting things at Chloe, I think. But things that are accessible. I would love to try more of the Nomad line. I have not tried the EDT or the Absolute, but this one is very, very beautiful. And that was the other one, Larissa. The other Chloe fragrance I loved, which was the Love Chloe, which I don't think they do anymore, unfortunately, which is really beautiful, powdery violet. I actually have the fragrance and I didn't guess right. That just shows you the blind testing is really, really difficult because you're smelling it in complete isolation without anything to prompt you. So it's quite easy to miss something that you already know. This is the Eau de Parfum Lin. So this is the original Eau de Parfum from Nomad. They also do an Eau de Toilette, and George was saying they also do an Absolute as well. So there's a couple in the collection. This is the Eau de Parfum, which was the first one to launch. So if F was a celebrity, which celebrity would they be? For me, I was thinking long and hard about this. And I think it would be Blake Lively. Specifically Blake Lively in A Simple Favour, if you've seen that movie, where she wears suits throughout and she looks really, really cool. I think she would wear this. Deborah was actually in Perfume for a nanosecond. Well, now we all have to definitely watch it because Deborah's in it. I definitely will be watching it to see where we can find you. Where will we spot you, Deborah? I'm intrigued. Sophie Ellis-Bextor. Taylor Swift. Interesting. These are interesting answers. Jessica Alba, sweet and cute. A Simple Favour is wild. That movie was very, very confusing. Because, you know, Blake Lively's, she's quite stunning, really. It's confusing for me watching that movie. Lady Gaga, yeah, I can see that. Emma Watson, Nicola Coughlan? Faye Dunaway, yeah, totally see Faye Dunaway. Kirsten Dunst. I think this is beautiful. I think it's a really lovely fragrance. And I think a man could wear this. I think a man could get away with this. And nobody would know. Do I enjoy wine and wine tasting? Is it similar to fragrance? I'm not a big drinker, Joel, so no, I don't really enjoy it. I can kind of see the overlaps. I think fragrance is more deliberate. I think a lot of wine tasting, you're picking up on facets that are probably, I don't know enough about it. I'll probably ramble on about it, but I don't know. It feels very different to me, even though it's kind of similar. Julia Roberts, totally. Holly Willoughby, Kirsten Dunst. Lots of interesting answers. I've got these around the wrong way. Right, let's move on to G. We're pulling out the big guns now. We're doing G. I think, personally, I don't know how you feel about G, but I think G is definitely the most opulent one in the box. I could be wrong. So, get your strips. Sample of G. Give this a good spritz. I tell you what, after I've done these lives, my office smells amazing. I come back in here to turn all the lights off and everything when I go to bed, and I'm like, it's heavenly. It's lovely. Big fan of that. So, Lynn says second favourite. Carl likes. Deborah was, oh, it's okay. Deborah's telling us about how she was in Perfume. I was in a meeting where we were reviewing a perfume brand's offering for Christmas on a hot day in June. It was the juxtaposition. Cool, we'll be watching that. Amanda says, G's my favourite. Has a lovely dry down, although the first top notes are a bit meh. There's an airy, floaty feel to it. Interesting. The top notes, I think, are quite, there's something odd in the top notes. Deborah says it's a bit nana. And you liked it for that reason, totally. I'm love for anything that can be a bit nana. G's comforting. Interesting. I think that's kind of a good point. Because G does have like a softness to it, I think. Thought G was Britney Spears. Could be. I could see Britney wearing this. Lots of people said Joanne really likes it. Sue thought it was light and she loves it. An older perfume, more traditional. A little like Coco. I can totally see the Coco by Chanel crossover with that. Yeah, Maddie says her brain knows what it is but can't put a finger on it. G was very different. Bab says G is powdery. Okay, I picked this to showcase a few things. I think I wanted to show how the Chypre can still be novel and unusual, but also how it can be such a wearable fragrance. How it can overlap with others. This time in the case it's a floral that it's overlapping with. and how it can have such a distinct character. Also, this fragrance has the best bottle ever. The hands down best bottle ever. I think it is the best bottle. It's the cleverest bottle. George says it's Hollywood glamorous big star scent. Absolutely. It deserves a red carpet, this fragrance. Whereas I think Chloe Nomad, which was F, is very dressed down casual. You could wear that anywhere. This fragrance has to be worn somewhere opulent and like an opera or something on a red carpet. So about this one, Ruth said that it was more like a classic chypre and was familiar. Shanna said that she liked the way it developed, calling it a clean scent with fresh linen notes under the floral and tropical. Jen didn't like it. She said it was acidic and alcoholic. Ruth said it had something green lurking in there. Kate loved the first spritz but found the dry down not to be special. Bettina said it was super sweet, like opening up a sweetie jar. Sue said she really liked it on skin and felt it had a honey facet. And Karen said she got the vibe of a glamorous woman wearing a diamond necklace and it wasn't for the faint-hearted. I think all of those things are right. I can see certainly all of that in there. It has a really odd gluey quality to it. I think there's kind of something a little bit off in a good way, like a kind of an element of discord in this fragrance. So it's, you know, we always think about fragrances always trying to be harmonious, but actually sometimes a perfumer will want something to stick out, a little bit element of oddness to give character. It's quite opulent, it's fur-like, it's thick and fuzzy, there's a fizz of citrus up top, and it's got a heavy sort of textured white floral in there. It's sweet and golden, but also juicy and ripe. It's an imaginary flower, I think. The flower in this is not meant to smell real, and it's surrounded by the sharp claws and warm fur, possibly of a cat, if I'm giving too much away. So I've just written in my notes, I just write, this is glamour. It is glamour. This is glamour. A cardboard note, interesting. I can see that. A hint of Elnet, absolutely. And I love the smell of Elnet. That's such a distinct scent memory for me, walking into the hairdressers as a kid, and it just smells of Elnet in there. It's hot and Elnetty. Another word like patchouliness. Elnetty is a new word. The bottle is so difficult to photograph. It is the worst bottle to photograph, and I don't know how the brand have done it. They've done some beautiful photos of the bottle. Okay, so what do we think this is? What are our guesses? I think this is such a beautiful fragrance. Giles says he can picture a woman wearing a very elegant pink Chanel tweed suit wearing this. Absolutely. Lisa said she thinks it was JPG Scandal, but think I'm wrong now. Okay. I can kind of see that Scandal's got that kind of powderiness to it, but it's very, very sweet. It's much more on the candy floss side, I think. I like this. I'll take another sip while you all guess. So we've got Cartier, Givenchy. A couple of votes for the Cartier. JPG something. Jean-Paul Gaultier something. Well, it is, in fact, La Panthère by Cartier, which it's a shame because the bottle you have to see in person, I think, because it doesn't really show very well. And mine needs a good polish, I'll be honest. It's been sat on the shelf for a while. So this is La Panthère by Cartier, obviously taking inspiration from their jewellery, which has obviously the panthère, the panther. It's created by Mathilde Laurent in 2014. Interestingly, I think out of all of this box, probably the green box as well, this is one of the only brands that I think we might carry that has an in-house perfumer. So Mathilde Laurent works solely for Cartier doing their fragrances. And they created this sort of beautiful, beautiful take on a chypre that's they're calling a feline floral. So they're really playing up on the kind of the idea of it purring like a cat. She always she just approaches, Mathilde Laurent approaches things with such a wonderful sense of freedom. She kind of seems unconstrained by what current perfumery trends are, and she just goes hell for leather and creates something interesting. The bottle itself, I don't know if you can really see, it's a bit of a shame, but inside there is the outline of a panther kind of chiseled into the bottle, but it also has the look of like a cigarette lighter as well. This is £57.60 for 30ml, by the way. So this is an interpretation of a chypre. I feel like it's an interpretation with lots of artistic license. There's punchy white floral notes. There's a gardenia here at the heart, but if you may know that gardenia flowers, whilst they're very, very fragrant, they yield no oil that you can use in perfume. So actually every gardenia you smell in fragrance is a construct. So a perfumer has had to sort of piece together other notes to create the impression of a gardenia. So this is a gardenia fashioned from velvet for me. The petals are kind of pieced together, but they're velvety. It's wrapped in the animalic feel of musk and sharp claws of patchouli. It's gleaming citrus up top. It's not a dressed down scent. It's very kind of dressed up. It's womanly and it's voluptuous. And I've described it when I've talked about it as a purring house cat. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. So, so lovely. And I know lots of people saying, I like it, I wouldn't wear it, it's a bit too heady. And I think absolutely, it's that kind of fragrance that isn't ashamed to not be an everyday, every person fragrance. I love it, but I would have to absolutely be in the mood for it. My cats never smell like this. Well, yes, that's true. Yeah, they don't smell quite this lovely. So Paul's saying, I don't think the fragrance matches the bottle. Far too young and playful for such a classy looking bottle. Okay. Lovely sprayed on a pillow. Yeah, I can see that. On a kind of pink silk pillow. I think it's just lovely. So if this was a colour, what colour would it be? I think for me, it would be kind of like a sunset colour. It's kind of between a pink and an orange, but it's not like a coral because it's not tropical, but it's kind of that sort of almost like peachy, sunsetty colour, I think. Pink, silk, orange, somewhere in there. It's so beautiful. So how does it compare to its sister? I don't know which one. Which fragrance is that we were trying to compare it to? I can't see. An apricot colour, a white, a light red. It's very different on my skin. Yeah, I think it does wear it. It warms up on the skin, I think. It can be a bit cold and that gluiness kind of takes over, I think, on the strip. White peach. Amanda says it's white. George says white peach. Lovely. Rusty silver. Interesting. Rose gold. Totally. I can see a rose gold. Absolutely. Peach. Light pink. Is this the EDT or the EDP? This is the EDP. So this is the original Eau de Parfum that launched first. And they've done a number of versions. They've done quite a few flankers of this one. So beautiful fragrance. Right. Are we ready for H? So yeah, Le Panthère Parfum is the newest version. They have, with that one, it's got an osmanthus note in there, so it's a little bit more jammy fruity, I would say, than this one. They're both very nice. The Panthère Parfum is this one. That's the Panthère Parfum. Slightly different bottle because you can see it's kind of the panther's face, but not in the block. This is a bit more fruity, osmanthus-y in there. A little bit more leathery. Quite different. Dry down is very, very powdery. Yeah, multifaceted, absolutely. Okay, let's move on. So, fragrance H. I think quite a few people liked H. I was looking back today. I think quite a few people liked it. The overall comment, I think, was, it's very, very sweet, which I cannot deny because H is very, very sweet. That is just a simple fact. Beloved H, the special powdery cake. This one, I would say, probably feels the least sheepery out of all of them, I would say. And I think we included it as a bit of a twist because it's a real strange thing because it's definitely got the signature of a sheeper in there. If you look at the notes and you know, when you smell it, you can see that structure in there because it does have that kind of dark patchouliness in the base. There's fruitiness up top and floralcy in the middle. But it's almost gourmand. Well, I say almost gourmand. As Amanda is quite eloquently saying, it's a candy wrapper. It's very gourmand. It's incredibly sweet, and it makes me wonder whether we'll see more cheaper fragrances move into the gourmand and push their fruity top notes into something more edible as we go. And it seems a very popular addition in the box. So Bettina said she got vanilla and a synthetic melon. Kate said, oh my God, I know it's sweet, but I love it. That you can't argue with that. Kiwi said it reminded her of mixed berries, and Carol said this was her favourite and that it feels floral. Adele said it started out fizzy, then mellowed down to warm and sweet, and Carl said it was very sweet and a little bit spicy too. I think it's sweet, but I think there is a lightness to it. There's an airiness in this, I think, that I think is quite nice. I call this one the Cotton Candy Chypre. The fruit here is blackberry. It's a very jammy sort of cassis note, and it feels to me a bit like the filling on the inside of a pink macaron. It's got that kind of gleaming, glistening, sweet fruity vibe. But there is a white floral in here. There's a tuberose at the heart, but a lovely dark streak of patchouli, but that's just whipped up in a cream of vanilla and musk. It does feel like a Chypre to me because it's got that contrast of fruit and patchouli darkness, but it's just the idea of a Chypre wearing a massive mass of pink tulle. I think that's what this is. I just think it's really, really fun. Really fun. Now, I don't think I've seen anybody guess this one, so I'm going to let you have an opportunity to guess, but I don't think I've seen anybody get it right. So let's see. What do you think this one would be? What are your guesses for H? Wish it was sent as a massage oil, very comforting smell. Yeah, I can see that. I think they must do some form of body products. I don't think they do a massage oil, but they do some nice stuff. Got bubblegum, grapefruit fruity, not for me, quite young. Maddie's having a problem because she adores 4 in the box. Yeah, that is a bit of a problem. It's very sweet and very wearable scent, warms up on the skin, says Becky. Could it be Parfum de Marly? George says yes, strawberry cookie cream it is. Olympia, is it a niche fragrance? No, this one's actually very mainstream. Perhaps doesn't have the foggiest. Just think it's from a classic house. Reminds me of Lonstan. Yeah, Lonstan, I can see that. So this one is Signorina Misteriosa by Salvatore Ferragamo. This came out in 2016. I was shocked to think this came out. It doesn't even feel like it came out last year, but it came out in 2016. It was created by 3 perfumers, sorry, and it's kind of part of their Signorina range. There's a couple of different versions, and this is the nighttime, your glad rags are on, a bit scandalous, a bit secretive one. This is £60 for a 50ml eau de parfum. I just think it's really, really lovely to see a gourmand Chypre. I think it's quite unusual. I think it's very, very wearable. And I think it's very pink and fluffy. And I sometimes am very much in the mood for pink and fluffy. So there you go. So this is Salvatore Ferragamo, Signorina Misteriosa. And it's got this lovely bottle, which has got the kind of bow on the top, which I believe you can get on Ferragamo shoes. You get shoes on that. His shoes do always tend to have that kind of little ball and bow. So there you go. Nobody guessed this from what I could see. So this is the surprise twist. This is H. Bottle H. My brain's a bit slow today. It's not engaging. It's H. So, my obvious question, if this was a food, what food would it be? What food would it be? Yeah, that's exactly what it is, Claire. People have been debating it, but nobody guessed. It is a nice bottle, actually. I think it's lovely. It's kind of chic, I think, because it sits there as a lovely block with a nice bow on top. Aggie says it's dark and heavy, not all pink and fluffy. I think that's maybe what the bottle is telling you as well, isn't it? Defo dark horse, Babs. Amanda's got this in her cupboard somewhere. You might have to go fish it out, Amanda. Candy floss, absolutely. Yep, I can see it being a candy floss. It's got that vibe. To me, it's a macaron. George says you heard me, strawberry cookie. Yeah, I heard you, George, I heard you. Vanilla ice cream, totally. Maybe raspberry ripple, maybe. I'm partial to a raspberry ripple. Any other thoughts on the food for this one? Fruit salad. Totally see that. We've had quite a lot of fruit salad. Honey-coated fruit. Yeah, maybe some decadent figs. Grape jelly. Big fan of that. Maybe grape Fanta. I love grape Fanta. So, a deluxe eclair. Yeah, one of those really, really fancy ones you see on Instagram that you have to go to Soho to buy and they cost you about £12. Those ones, Susie. Totally see what you mean. So that was the Chypre box. I guess what would be really lovely to hear from you all, not just thinking about the last 4, but if you could all tell me what your favourite from the box has been, from A to H. I think that'd be really interesting. So I'll leave you a moment to think about that, and I'll pick those up as we come up. Just to give you a few more things to think about. Sorry, Maddie, this one is Signorina Misteriosa by Salvatore Ferragamo. So, a few things to remember. Housekeeping, points of order, etc, etc. March's box, which is the floral box, is coming off sale on Monday the 1st of March. And we'll look forward to revealing those in March as we go. Do join in if you want to. April's Discovery Set, which is fruity, will go on sale on Monday 1st of March. If you want to get that box, you can get that from 1st of March, and then we'll be revealing those in April. Keep sharing your thoughts and selfies, etc. in the group. Always the highlight of my week, come and talk to you. And I would really, really like to know what you've loved out of the box so far. So I've seen Deborah saying Mitsuko. Let me just scroll back up in case I've missed anything. I've seen lots of foodie things. Raspberry Ripple ice cream, iced biscuits, cherry cheesecake, forbidden berries, black forest gatto. Lots of lovely things. So Sue says B, which was Narciso. G, which was, I've just done G, which was the La Panthère. D was the Citizen Queen, and then E was the Odina Mossant. This is just to test, see if I remember what they were related to the letters. Carl likes G. Chloe Nomad for me. Yeah, David, I'm the same with you as well. I like that as well. Okay, Maddie says I need D, F, and G. So Citizen Queen, Nomad, and the Signorina Misteriosa. Okay, you loved B as well. Just to throw B in for good measure. Mitsuko, lots of love for Mitsuko. George liked Mitsuko, Odina Mossant, and La Panthère. April is going to be fruity. It's going to be very fruity. It's going to get so fruity in April. I cannot tell you how fruity it will be. And that's not just because I will be hosting, but it will be very fruity. Lots of love. Okay, so F is getting quite a bit of love. C, F, and H. B and F. Yeah, I see. I think F might be the most popular. I think. I would say B and F probably. Okay. E, B, G in that order. Nice to rediscover parents. Yeah, this is one of those ones that I think is easy to forget about, easy to overlook, but actually when you smell it, you realise how gorgeous it is. So before I sign off, because I love talking to you guys and I'm just basically hanging around so that I don't have to go. I'll just recap. So E was Odina Mossant by Clarins. This is kind of very aromatic chypre. Could be a little bit green. It's cologne-like, but it's very fresh and revitalising. F was Chloe Nomad, which was this really fascinating chypre that's kind of from a modern position looking back, and it's kind of created something that feels very, very new because it is this hybrid of the old and new. But it feels very modern, very current. G was La Panthère, which was just opulence everywhere. Lovely kind of gardenia floral chypre, very fluffy and musky. And then H, I really can't remember my letters today. H was Signorina Misteriosa, the gourmand one, the candy floss chypre as I like to call it. Oh no, cotton candy chypre as I like to call it. There you go. So we have this box. And I think I saw someone just saying how they liked how diverse the genre was. And that's exactly what we wanted to show with the box. It's just how one fragrance family is just so diverse. And I think you've just seen how kind of massively different it all can be and how they overlap. And it's really exciting, I think. But I am a big nerd. Oh, and yes, Escentual are dropping hints that they do have a discount code going live tomorrow. That's very naughty of you, Escentual, but thank you for sharing. Larissa Thomas, I'm looking forward to the floral box next month. I love your monthly selections. I hope it's okay for me to ask you for a honey fragrance suggestion. Honey fragrance. Yeah. So I think it's difficult. Honey is difficult because honey can be quite funky smelling. So one of the best honey fragrances, and I don't know if you can still get it, so I apologise. You must be able to find it on the internet. Kim Kardashian West did a fragrance called Honey, and it is the best honey fragrance I've ever smelled. I'm not a fan of Kim Kardashian. I could take or leave her, but that is a damn good honey fragrance. So that's what I would recommend. There's a discount code going live very, very soon. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Learned a lot. Yep, thank you. Loved it, great. This is brilliant. Great diversity. I would not have predicted liking any sheep breath. Well, there you go. If I've made you like but one sheep, then I will be a happy boy. There we go. Thanks everybody for joining. This has been really pleasurable as always. I enjoy it. Keep taking part, keep chatting. We'll put this video up live, so if you want to watch it again, then absolutely you can. And we'll see you all soon. Thanks so much. And then obviously next month will be floral, and we'll be getting into one of my favourite genres, which is the floral genre, which I'm really excited about. We've got some really beautiful florals in that box. So I'm not going to tell you what they are. And I feel like I should go now, because the longer I stay here, the higher the chances that I will reveal what they are, and that will be bad. So thanks everyone. Have a lovely evening. Finish off your drinks. Goodbye. Good night. See you.